Before the algorithms told you what to listen to, and before streaming isolated us into our own private loops, we all had a countdown. Every afternoon at 3 or 6 p.m., millions of us tuned in to the same channels to see the same video premieres, interviews, and performances, to experience the exact same things in real time, sort of like a music courtyard.
For us, by us.
From the historic syndication of Soul Train to the living room and basement of Video Soul and Rap City, and of course the energy and peak of 106 in Park, these platforms created time capsules of Black culture and music videos. If you grew up watching Aaliyah, Destiny's Child, or Usher climb the charts, you remember the feeling. But then the shows were canceled and the music went quiet. The mainstream narrative tells us these shows ran their course. They call it a natural cultural shift. History tells us a completely different story. The truth is, the countdowns were dismantled. It became too expensive to produce, they became too politically powerful to ignore, and far too independent for the corporate structures inheriting the media landscape to control. In this video, we're going past the service nostalgia of Black music television, because to understand how we lost the shared experience, we have to look at the blueprint of how it was built from scratch. And that blueprint started in 1971 with a man named Don Cornelius. The Genesis, the power of ownership, and the Soul Train line. Before BET, VH1, and MTV, there was Soul Train. That is its legacy. The story begins in 1971 when Don Cornelius, a Chicago broadcaster, former police officer, and a man deeply aware of how TV misrepresented Black life, took Soul Train national. It's difficult to overstate what that meant. Soul Train was the first nationally syndicated TV program owned and produced by a Black man. Before it, Black artists appeared as guests, temporary presences in someone else's white space. After it, they were the center, the show, the stage, the culture. It all belonged to them and us. Mr. Cornelius was intentional about what he created. This was not just a musical dance variety show. It was a correction. It presented Black youth as joyful, stylish, and excellent at a time when mainstream TV rarely allowed such representations. Even the small details reflected this intention. The scramble board segment, where dancers spelled out the names of notable Black figures, was structured so that failure was not an option. Don Cornelius was obviously at the center of decision-making when it came to the music guests featured on this show. It wasn't a countdown format, but Soul Train most certainly tracked radio hits and chart topics to determine its guest artists. Record label relationships also influenced its programming, and if a song worked on the dance floor, it worked on Soul Train. And then there were the rituals, the Soul Train line, the closing phrase.
We wish you love, peace, and soul.
The cadence of the show itself. These became cultural inheritances, passed down across generations. The performances alone would have secured Soul Train's legacy. Stevie Wonder debuting new music live. James Brown stepping onto the dance floor in full regalia.
Do you remember this one?
The Jackson 5, appearing as regulars with a young Michael Jackson still emerging into global stardom. What Soul Train proved, decades before it became widely accepted, was that a show created for us, by us, was not niche. It was essential, and the whole world would watch. The Living Room, Video Soul, Rap City, and the Art of Presence.
It's Video Soul.
A decade later, Video Soul premiered on Black entertainment television. 5 weeks later, MTV launched. That timeline matters because it disrupts the simplified version of history. The common narrative suggests that MTV ignored Black artists and BET emerged in response. While the exclusion was very real, it overlooked something important. Video Soul was already building the infrastructure of Black music television before MTV even aired its first video. What Mr. Donnie Simpson created was not just a show, but a space. It felt less like a broadcast and more like a living room where artists could sit, speak, and exist beyond performance. This was not the rushed format of promotional interviews. It was conversation, presence, and context. The top 10 of the evening usually reflected what was performing well in the charts and radio airplay. Unlike later countdown shows, Video Soul was less about ranking and more about representation. Though there was a request line in later years, it more closely aligned with radio-style gatekeeping, largely influenced by record label promotions and network programming decisions. Rap City extended that intimacy further into hip-hop. It stripped away polish and replaced it with authenticity. Freestyles weren't just segments, they were tests, statements, moments of proof. You saw artists think and create in real time, existing without the buffer of heavy production. Music videos made it into rotation based on what was popping in hip-hop at the time, regional movements, and credibility within the culture. This was informed taste-making, or street buzz. Record labels also played a part. But the unique thing about Rap City was that they often gave airtime to up-and-coming artists, or those who hadn't necessarily reached widespread notoriety just yet. Together, these shows documented Black music not just at its peaks, but in its process. The list of artists who passed through these spaces reads like an archive of Black music history. A teenage Usher before his breakout, Aaliyah on her 17th birthday, New Edition navigating group and solo tensions, Mary J. Blige before her identity as an icon was fully formed, Whitney Houston during a pivotal time in her career, the enigmatic, understated Sade in one of her earliest American interviews, and countless MCs like DMX, LL Cool J, and Cameron displaying creativity and passion while sharpening their craft live on Rap City. We also can't forget that Rap City was the last televised interview for the notorious B.I.G.
Yeah, y'all know how I feel. East Coast, West Coast, worldwide. Unifying the hip-hop nation right here in Rap City. See y'all later today.
And then there were the live performances. Anita Baker delivering a humble apology that sounds just like the record. SWV early in their career performing the song that would become an undeniable R&B classic and playlist requirement.
But it's caused me to act in such a crazy way.
Total, showcasing one of Raphael Sadiq's most beautiful, well-written songs with a little bit of tension in the air. And a rare performance from Chris Cross featuring Aaliyah, Da Brat, Mr. Black, and a young Jermaine Dupri. These were not just appearances. They were records, cultural records, moments preserved at the exact point before transformation, before superstardom.
Let's hear it for Aaliyah!
Video Soul ran for 15 years. When it ended in 1996, there was a void. And as Rap City evolved through the late 90s and early 2000s, the shifts in TV format revealed just how much these shows have been holding together conversation, authenticity, and documentation. The Pinnacle, 106 in Park, and the power of live energy.
BET's top 10
On September 11, 2000, 106 in Park premiered on BET. With it came a new rhythm. It was daily, it was live, and it was immediate. Appointment TV. Initially hosted by AJ and Free, the high-octane energy of the show transformed the countdown into a lived experience. One of the most memorable aspects of 106 in Park was the energy of its live studio audience. It felt less like watching TV and more like being inside of an event. The 106 in Park Top 10 is known as one of the most defined and visible countdown systems of any music show, primarily curated by audience participation, at least seemingly, but also industry influence. Music videos were initially placed by BET, influenced by record label promotions, industry relationships, and artist popularity. But unlike some of its predecessors, 106's countdown format was driven by viewer voting. Videos would even enter the Hall of Fame after a designated number of days, preventing a single artist from dominating forever. Though we all know Bow Wow was literally Mr. 106 in Park. But to be clear, you could only vote on what you were given. So essentially, the countdown felt democratic, but it was absolutely still structured. 106 in Park didn't just reflect what people liked, it shaped what they had the chance to choose from. The show's other segments became cultural landmarks. Freestyle Friday, in particular, carried the DNA of Rap City forward, turning afternoon television into a stage for lyrical competition, launching figures like MC Jen and Blind Fury into broader recognition. However, the show's influence extended far beyond its format. It became part of the machinery that built careers. Artists like Beyonce, Rihanna, Chris Brown, and 50 Cent weren't just featured, they were amplified. And the moments became mythology. Michael Jackson appearing for an interview, Lil Bow Wow becoming Mr. 106 in Park, Destiny's Child continuing a performance after Michelle Williams fell mid-routine, Barack Obama recording a message during his presidential campaign while Michelle enforced household rules about watching the show, Aaliyah's final TV appearance and televised interview. These were not isolated events. They were shared experiences, moments witnessed, remembered, and retold collectively.
I shoot the video tomorrow, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And that video should be out, and we're hoping beginning of September.
The Glass Box, TRL, and the Crossover Machine.
Now that is a song.
In 1998, 2 years before 106 in Park debuted, MTV launched Total Request Live. From its studio overlooking Times Square, the show merged television, urban spectacle, and early internet interactivity into something new. At first, the show was dominated by pop acts: NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera. You remember the colorful early 2000s pop era. But when Black artists broke through on TRL, they did so at scale.
You got Eve, Nelly, Destiny's Child.
TRL wasn't just a platform, it was a gateway. Success there meant visibility across demographics, regions, cultural boundaries. Artists like Missy, Jay-Z, Nelly, and Outkast didn't just appear, they shifted the whole vibe of the show. And when Hey Ya reached #1, it wasn't just a chart position, it was a cultural moment. Like 106 in Park, TRL structure, specifically its 65-day retirement rule, ensured constant turnover. No artist could dominate indefinitely. The top spot was always in motion and up for grabs. When Black artists claimed that space, they did so in full view of the world. What video countdowns and music variety shows built. Taken together, these shows created more than entertainment. They built a system of meaning. The countdown format introduced stakes. Being #1 mattered. Not because of algorithms, but because of collective recognition. People voted, the results were visible, the outcome was shared. Each show contributed something distinct. Soul Train created the stage. Video Soul built the archive. Rap City preserved the raw, unfiltered voice of hip-hop. 106 in Park established the daily ritual. And TRL expanded the audience. Together, they all created something intangible but essential, a shared vocabulary. Everyone knew which artist in video was #1. Everyone saw the same list. Everyone participated in the same cultural moment. The system wasn't perfect by any means. Industry politics, promotional budgets, and structural inequalities influenced outcomes. Not every artist received equal access. We recognize this now. But the formats still made space. Real space for visibility, recognition, and cultural affirmation. What we are grieving ultimately is not just the shows themselves, but the feeling they produced. That what was happening in Black music, the evolution and the exposure, was happening to all of us at the same time. What we lost, the shared public square. Today, music television shows have largely disappeared. Streaming platforms and algorithms have replaced shared lists with personalized feeds. Discovery has expanded, but common experience, with the exception of live shows and concerts, is totally missed. The algorithm offers access, but it fragments. It shows each of us a different version of culture. The countdown and its segments, by contrast, showed everyone the same thing. That sameness created community. It created conversation. It created memory. Yes, it was flawed, shaped by industry forces, influenced by power structures, and far from neutral. But it was also visible. Its biases could be seen, debated, and understood. By contrast, the algorithm can be hard to understand for those not familiar with social media and content marketing in particular. You can't really see how it works. Its impact is spread out, and it's sometimes tough to figure out why you're seeing what you're seeing. And so we arrive at the paradox. The countdown was rigged. Of course it was. Every system of ranking carries bias. But we loved it anyway. Because what it gave us was not perfection, but participation. Not fairness, but shared experience. Not neutrality, but visibility. And maybe that is why the memory endures. For 35 years, Don Cornelius closed Soul Train the same way.
Yeah, I'm Don Cornelius, and as always in parting, we wish you love, peace, and...
That was never just a sign-off. It was a statement of intent, a description of what the countdown and music dance variety show at its best tried to give us. Not a perfect system, but something we could all see, feel, and remember together. In honor of this essay, check out our playlist and let us know what we missed. What were some of your favorite countdown songs?